Sorry, what was your name?
TJ, the real deal, coming at you live with Hugo.
I should have typed it in.
Isaac from Premium Trades and Bill White, Billy Branco from the Bronx. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Good.
Good. How you doing, man? Excited.
Just finished dinner.
I'm good, man. I had a couple of bites of hamburger. I went to Sonic, dude, and I ordered a hamburger with mustard, bro. And the cardinal sin at the drive-thru is you always check, right?
Always.
Dude, I didn't check, and of course it came with freaking mayonnaise. I'm the only weirdo that's allergic to mayonnaise. And then it just pissed me off, bro. So we called the golf course. They made me a hamburger real quickly. And because I'm getting back on the injection late tonight, so this is like my only chance to splurge before food sucks again. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ooh, hamburger.
do you lose the want for food when you get that?
Probably yes, dude. It sucks. I mean, it's cool from a health perspective, probably, but yeah. Food sucks. You're nauseous all the time. You're not into it. Like you're just like whatever. I don't want it.
Yeah.
And it turns out whenever you're not eating, you lose a lot of weight.
Is that a public company, the Ozempic, or what's the deal? Can you trade that?
So I think it's Eli Lilly is the big company in this case. There's others. I think that's kind of the big thing going on with Hims right now, right? Is whether or not they're I think you call it GLP-1 or some technical bullshit. So it's either they're going to have it, they're not going to have it. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. How's the volume, dude? Because I'm outside. It's windy. I've got the blue microphone here. Are we good?
It sounds good here.
Yeah, good to me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anyway, guys, format for today is I'm looking for a cash grab, $1 million. You got $1 million to work with. This isn't theoretical. I got $1 million to work with. And I'm looking for a cash grab week to 2 weeks out. And if I take on the trade, we'll see how it performs, here in the next couple of wheelers. Because I'm just tired, bro, of all the accounting. I hate the wheel tracker because it doesn't do automated data entry. You can do that wheel tracker, Bill. We could be billionaires, bro. But I hate the fact that you got to manually put shit into the tracker, right? I don't like to do it. So I'm like, you know what? 2025, New Year's resolution. Fuck that. Big trades only. That's it. That's it. And I'm real pissed off at Robinhood right now and their bullshit $200 and $500 500 to count the limits. I've got a message out to them, and I'm legit considering switching brokers. I'm tired of the bullshit.
Man.
TJ, you gotta tag Vlad on your post,
bro. I need a brokerage. I need a legitimate brokerage that can handle some freaking volume. Webull doesn't play with me. Webull lets me do whatever the hell I want to do on there.
Oh, Webull doesn't have the limits?
Bro, I've done 2,500 contracts at one time on Webull.
Yeah, Robinhood's the only one that I know of that has the limits.
Somebody said Fidelity.
Fidelity? I don't know. Schwab doesn't. The other thing that Robinhood has a limit on, if you can get this fixed, is if you trying to roll spreads. If you try to close out 5 and open up 10, it gives you a limit of 9 somehow. I don't like it's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
But you can't roll credit spreads anyways. You got to close them out manually and reopen them.
No, we did a whole thing on it. You can roll them. We did it on the channel.
And you also run into like the terrible fills for Robinhood as well. Terrible fills.
That all being said, I'm going to go first on the cash grab.
Yeah, but before we get there, premium trades. What's going on with you? Let's go 2 to 3 minutes. Each of you guys, what's going on with you? What's good? What's not good? Anything that I can help with? Anything that chat can help with? And then we'll get into it. Let's go premium. For those of y'all that don't know, Premium Trades is out of Texas. Real, small city over there. Starts with an H, ends with an N. And I've met him personally at the Omni, at the Galleria. Really, really nice man. He's a man of faith as well. He's got a channel. And I swear the first time I listened to one of his videos, I thought I had another channel. Like, if there's anybody that has duplicated the format, like, I could sue this dude for plagiarism, bro.
You gotta shave his head next.
Hand stuck in the cookie jar. Kick the can down the road. All that.
Manufacture the win.
Manufactured with all that shit.
Talk to us, Isaac. How's it going, brother? What's going on? What's good? What's not good? Where you at?
Well, I'm gonna give y'all the short story because the longer story won't end. So, in regards to the portfolio, everything's pretty steady Eddie. I haven't really made a video because I've just been so busy with life. Right here, I just got 20 minutes before I log off. But, I got a lot of positions. SoFi's doing great. I hold Tesla, AMD, what is it? SoFi, and Apple. I had PayPal. I had Starbucks. Those got away from me when they skyrocketed. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just cut them off. But now what I'm trying to implement now in the portfolio is that I'm trying to do implement cash flows, right? Cash secured puts, bring those in, aiming for anywhere to 2 to 3%, maybe even 4% monthly, and then a portion of that income invested into my long-term investment, which is QQQ, which could bring up a good conversation for everybody, which is, what do y'all prefer, QQQ or SPY? But other than that, we're thank God we're doing good.
Very cool. What about you, Hugo? What's going on with you? First of all, I met Hugo personally in Torrey Pines over there in La Jolla, California. He was kind enough to go out. I think you were visiting your brother or something like that.
Yep.
And I met him along with Christian Peña. Chris sells options or something like that is his handle. Super nice folks. So that was real cool. We didn't get to snap a pic. We were in the moment, bro. So we weren't doing the whole Chinese tourism thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were
I'm not profiling. I'm just saying, dude, I golfed with the Chinese dude in Pebble Beach, and I'm like, bro, not everything's a picture moment, Yep. Yeah, it was crazy. So, but we didn't do any of that. And then you're the one that mentioned it on the chat, like, dude, we forgot to snap a pic after you'd already left.
We forget our social influencing side of the world, bro.
Bro, we were just people for a little bit. Wasn't it great?
No, but look, man, it was pleasure. I got to meet TJ and his wife. It was awesome. I mean, Christian, his family. It's always cool when we get to meet people from the internet in real life, and it's always funny the reactions that you get from your parents or when I told my girlfriend, like, oh yeah, I got to go see 2 guys that I met on Twitter. She's always like, what? You gonna go see who? So it's always funny, but yeah, man. Look, is it okay if I pull up my portfolio on here, or do you want me to just kind of do something on the glance?
Yeah, you can do present or whatever.
Because what's pissing me off, and really what I want to highlight is, and it happened with me with Tesla, and it happened with me again with SoFi, which is I get caught with the wave when it goes up, and I lose on the upside, really. And I don't know what you recommend there, TJ, what you would do. So let me hone in on the SoFi trade just so we can talk about that one. Sure. Since SoFi is in style.
Is that you?
All right. SoFi. So I have a pretty decent cost basis.
I'd say better than decent.
Yeah, I got in well. I can't complain. But then I kind of tapped out at the majority of them are $8 and $7 calls, expiring in January. And I was looking at rolling the $7 ones, but even if I go out a year, I don't think I can even get to $9. So I don't know if it even makes sense to roll at that point. And how do you see this playing out?
So
real quick,
go ahead.
Sorry, TJ. I'm in the same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I got 100 shares of AMD that I purchased for $100, like last year. I have 100 those shares. I have a covered call for 120. Then I have, get this, I have 100 shares of Apple. Yeah, my precious Apple. I bought them at 132, and I have a covered call at 160. And then I also have my Tesla shares that I bought for like 200, and I have a covered call for 255. So that one's not too bad. But yeah, I have the same question as well, and many other wheelers as well.
Yeah. So I got something for y'all. I'm not going to spoil it too much because this is a big section for Wheeler seminar on Saturday.
Oh,
But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. A lot of the problems that you run into selling covered calls is because you didn't have a definitive plan when you got into the position. So you have to realize that, and you have to recognize that, and you have to own that. Like, you got to go back to your mindset. That's why I created this channel from the very beginning. It was to just be able to have a journal. If y'all look at my handle, it's the wheel deal is something trading journal or some shit, right?
yeah.
This is a journal for me. Is I go back to the video when I placed a trade and I see exactly what I was talking, what I was saying, where was my mindset at? Because jotting it down on just a journal does not really do it justice. So I wanted to start having a channel where I was verbalizing all the gimmies and the gotchas. So the question to you is, okay, boom, you bought the 1,100 shares or whatever I saw there. You have go back to the actual position, and we'll work our way back. So you landed on 1,000 shares of SoFi at 678, right? That's what happened. So now it's all about the interrogatories. Y'all remember the interrogatories as a kid? Who, what, when, where, why, how, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you buy those shares? That's where it all starts. So I'm asking you that question. Why did you buy those shares at 678? And what was the purpose for buying those shares? Was it a swing trade that now shit looks a lot better? And you're like, ooh, I want to forget that it was ever a swing trade. And now I want to try to turn it into an investment because I see all this upside here because you already know the answers to the fucking test, right? So we're not going to grade the test like that. We got to look at the blank sheet of paper. You had this question right here, and this is how you filled it in, right? But now you know the answer to the test, and you're like, shit, I got that all wrong, so now I want to fix it. That's essentially what we're talking about here. But what was your mindset when you were filling in the answers to the test? You had $6,700, and you're like, I want to buy 1,000 shares of SoFi. How did it happen? How did you even get into the position? Were they cash secured puts? Did you buy the shares outright? Like, where are you at?
Right. No, it was cash secured puts got me into the position, and then I rounded them off by buying it. But you're right. It wasn't initially. It wasn't a long term position for me. I liked it because of its tech kind of side to the banking angle, but it wasn't something that I was fired up about. So
let's stop right there. So why weren't you fired up about it? Because it just was not a stock or a company that excited you, correct? Is that fair?
That's fair. Yeah. I truthfully, I don't even use it. I don't even use SoFi.
Exactly. So the only reason you're excited about it right now is it fair to say, because I'm inferring, I'm speculating, because I don't know, right? I can't get into your head. But is it fair of me to assume, to speculate that the only thing that you're excited is what could I do to capitalize on this share appreciation, even though I really don't give two shits about the stock, whether I owned it for an extra 3 or 5 years, it's irrelevant. You're just trying to maximize the profit potential that's in front of you because you already know the answers to the test. Is that still fair, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what happens if we figure out a way to roll, we figure out how to get long, even if it's synthetically, and then now SoFi comes crashing back down to 7. How are you going to feel about
it? How would I feel about it? I wouldn't feel too confident with it.
No. What I'm saying is whenever you roll covered calls like in the distance and all that, because you want to like try to get all that capital appreciation, and then the stock comes crashing down, you lose all your liquidity, right? And then are you going to be comfortable owning these shares at 678 if it comes tumbling back down to say $7 or $8? Because it could happen. I think it's very unlikely, but it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you have somewhere else? Because I think I could fix this trade for you. But my question is always, do you have something that is higher conviction that you would be glad to roll this kind of money into? Because you're talking about $7 and then $8 is what I saw. So you're going to collectively have about $13, $14, $15,000, whatever that ends up being, right?
Yeah.
Is there anywhere else you would rather have the money? Because if the answer to that is yes, then what are we even talking about right now?
Yes, the answer is yes. Yeah, that's a yeah. Yeah, I would put it somewhere else. I don't know if I would double down on SoFi.
Okay, cool. But I'm not talking about doubling down. All I'm talking about is, to me, I think the answer to the test is very simple, Hugo, because you're willing to fix this trade if there's not a lot of pain in doing so. And if it just kind of like falls into place, because you had a chance to fix it a long time ago. As soon as it breached your strike price, you could have just closed it for a small loss. That's what happened to me with Palantir. But I was determined that Palantir wasn't going to run up that high because Palantir has been overvalued for me in my mind for about 2 years. So I stood behind that conviction, and now I'm leaving, $100,000, $150,000 on the table, right? So, whenever you mark it wrong on the test, you're not able to go back and like change the answers, right? They're going to grade the test and you got to live with those results. Now, luckily we can roll, we can do some things. This is my recommendation. You want to maintain exposure and keep your liquidity. This is what I've learned to do. And I've been doing it offline for 3 years. I just recently started doing it online. Don't fix the covered call, go long by buying long calls. And then get all of your liquidity back when those shares get called away. And then you're still going to be able to bring in premiums on the long calls and just play it via a poor man covered call and eliminate all the stress from the fucking covered calls that have been stressing you out from day one anyway. Because for 30 to 40 cents on the dollar, you can go buy lottery leaps at 15, going to set you back a couple $100. You go buy, 10, 20 of those, you'll make just as much money on those damn leaps as you will trying to figure this shit out for the next 3 to 5 years. And why go through all that headache if it's a stock that you're not legit long on? If you want to gamble, go gamble with the freaking leaps. You can bring some money through the door via covered calls against those leaps because the premium's the exact same whether you own the shares or not.
Right.
And now you have $12,000 to $15,000 that you could potentially put somewhere else, because the first thing that I wanted to do is test your conviction. And I didn't hear any. The only thing I heard is I don't want to leave money on the table, but not that I want to be in SoFi. That's a real, there's something very, very, there's a big nuance difference in what you're coming out of your mouth.
Yes, and you nailed it. That's exactly how I feel about SoFi. What if I was to flip the script on, for example, Tesla, where, I'm going to roll these calls till I die if I need to? How would you? Then
you've already decided that.
So you just keep on this, because I had these. I got a pretty good cost basis as well, but these
awesome.
are.
Well, let's look at the covered call.
This is pretty much the biggest culprit of my covered call right here.
Yeah, but luckily it came down a little bit, so now it's helping you, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So what's to stop you from rolling this thing down for a year, and you could easily put a 230, 240, 250 handle on it. And now you qualify for all of that capital appreciation, because with Tesla, it's different because you're playing that game. You're on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
I don't suggest rolling covered calls that far out on anything, or even this, because you really don't have to. I mean, just play the game of intrinsic versus extrinsic value. You might be able to wait a little bit more. I don't think the shares are. Let me look at it real quickly on the options price. Yeah, so you've got $51 of intrinsic, $7 of extrinsic. What's the extrinsic in layman's terms? That's your protection of why the shares aren't called away from you right now. Right? That's the protection that you have, right? Because that's the gimme and the gotcha. The gimme for you, or the gotcha for you, is your intrinsic value. The gimme is your extrinsic value. Because this whole game's about gimmies and gotchas. It's about credits and debits. And you've got about $6 there of protection. So mathematically, you don't have to roll it. but it's just kind of like you're fighting gravity, right? Like the deeper you are in the hole, the harder it is to climb out of that hole.
Yeah.
So I guess the question again is, if you saw the writing on the walls and you knew like the RoboCop event was happening, right? The We Robot or whatever was happening, like why didn't you just close it if your conviction was that this thing's going to the moon? This is the question I always ask myself. Again, this is Wheeler seminar shit right here. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't your actions matching the conviction that you say is coming out of your mouth?
Well, look,
because everybody looks at your actions, they listen to your words, but they look at but your portfolio is saying something different.
Yes, but
so where's the disconnect?
With Tesla, you know, I've learned my lesson with Tesla that it's very irrational. You know, like after the Robotaxi event, it actually crashed. It was after earnings that it actually spiked the 15-20%. So had I closed it before the Robotaxi event, it probably wouldn't have been a smart move. I mean, hindsight, I mean, yes, it would have been a smart move because it went up after earnings again. But I've just learned to with Tesla that you just never know. You know, I'd rather be in the position to roll it than have laid out 30 grand to close them out and then it crashes down to 200, you know, or 190. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. Is that the right way to look at it?
It depends on. I mean, again, what's your goal? Do you feel like these are ride or die shares for you?
Yeah,
these are. You want to own these for the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So these are kids. You're going to lay your life on the line in front of these kids, right? We're going to take a bullet for these kids. I mean, I'm just saying, like this is the level of emotional attachment you have for these shares, and there's nothing wrong with it, dude. I have that type of attachment to some shares as well. I wish that all of my shares could be like Robinhood. I don't give a flying fuck about those 10,000 shares. I just don't. There's nothing that anybody can ever tell me to make me care. It is just an instrument that's been making me money. That's it.
Hey, did that change after you tried Legends?
Dude, Legend cost me $1,000, bro. I was closing long calls when I meant to be buying them and shit, dude. It is way too techy for me. I like easy stuff. You know what I mean? I'm a Robinhood Classic kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a legendary kind of guy. Dude, I feel like it's really awesome. I'm sure it does a lot of cool shit. I just don't know how I would be able to use it from the standpoint that it starts looking like all of the other apps that I was trying to stay away from because they were intimidating.
Yeah.
And I'm placing so many trades on a daily basis that ease of use is very, very important for me.
Hey, real quick.
Now it's becoming more of a pain in the ass as these contract limits that it's like, well, you know, I've been playing with the Tasty Trades platform quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I don't like the damn color scheme because it hurts my eyes after a while. But I'm like, you know, I don't think that they're going to mess with me too much on my contract limits, but we'll see.
Hey, how long you have planned on going live for, TJ?
When, today?
Yeah, right now.
My wife's going to come bother me here by 9 o'clock at bed.
Gotcha. So you may cut it off like at 9?
Yeah, we'll see. So anyway, on Tesla, bro, just roll. And then the other thing that I've done, because I'm underwater on cover calls too, I have them at $280 for January of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
On pullbacks, I'm selling cash secured puts on Tesla, but I'm just getting all the alpha that I feel like I'm leaving on the table via TSLL.
Right.
And that's a lot cheaper. So I feel like I have that indirect connection, if you will, and it somehow takes a lot of the sting. So it's always like you got to find another way, right? The door's closed, look for the window.
And honestly, that was a very good strategy, and I followed you on that strategy. And I bought 1,000 shares of TSLL, and I've been itching to sell calls on this, and I think I only sold 2 calls on it, which I relearned my lesson, $12 calls on it. But I've been itching to not sell anything on it because this is essentially my upside on what I missed out from Tesla. So
okay, so you gotta understand what you own here, though. Pull the 1 year chart on Tesla, click on 1 year here and see the percentage on it.
7.63
No, that can't be right.
for TSLL or for Tesla?
Yeah, no, TSLL, like the actual. I think you're on the. Are you on the contract or the actual shares?
No, I'm on the shares.
Okay, so 763 is the 1 year. Let's
Is the
start
1
year
year.
to date. Click on the year to date.
Year to date is 13, down 13 and a half.
Okay, now put Tesla and do the same thing.
Now wow, yeah,
Here, Todd.
it's up to 3%.
Okay, and then year to date.
Yeah,
One year.
that is year to date. The 1 year is 22%.
Okay, so let's just think logically for a second. We have an ETF that's supposed to mirror this 2 times over, good or bad, right?
Yeah.
So Tesla goes up 22%. It stands to reason that the other instruments should be up about 45%, but that is not the case. That is all the proof that you need that there's management fees and there's erosion, NAV erosion, and net asset value, and there's also a dividend that they have to make good on, so that pulls the strike price. There's like forces pulling down that strike price. I'm making a shitload of money on TSOL, but you know what I'm never doing, Hugo?
What?
Is I'm never owning those stupid shares right there without selling cover calls against them. Because I got to bring in the premiums from the cover calls to justify the NAV erosion, because the dividend alone is not going to do it. And the capital appreciation, it's already showing you that it isn't there for the last year.
Gentlemen, I got to step out for a little bit, but it was good seeing everybody.
Appreciate your premium anytime, brother. Reach out to me.
Yes, sir. God bless everyone. Take care. Bye.
Damn, TJ, that's a great point. And
bro, I've been practicing. Y'all fucking Wheelers, y'all have no idea the shit I'm coming up with on Saturday. Like, I've been thinking all the T-shaped cliche is going to be on fucking fire Saturday, bro.
Hey,
like,
these
I feel like I'm not going to see y'all ever again on YouTube, and I'm going to give it all to y'all, and I'm going to send y'all address to the yacht in Miami and show the fuck up where you got money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be waiting for y'all. I'm gonna be like Tom from Castaway and fucking playing with Wilson. Me and Wilson are lonely on the yacht, boy. We're waiting on you guys to figure this shit out, okay? It ain't that hard. It's a game of credits and debits, man. It's a game of credits and debits, gimmies and gotchas. You know what I mean?
That's all it is, man. That's all it is. You know, it's funny because I was talking to my dad this morning. He's been trying to learn options, and he was mentioning to me he was watching that 4-hour video that Henry put out a couple weeks or months ago. And so I told him about that one you were planning on putting out, and he's very excited about it. So I think a lot of people are very excited about that one. I think it's going to be very good.
Yeah, Alex is working on all that. He came over, dude, and I did the Wheeler seminar for him already. Little Alex was the guinea pig, unfortunately. And so he's sitting there nerding out on his computer, and I think we're at about 25, 26 slides already.
Wow.
So it'll keep my ADHD elemental on track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, dude, I think the big thing, just to recap for your situation, is go back to your mindset of when you originally got into those positions, why you got into that position, and if from the very beginning you knew that this was the amount of money that you were going to make, would you have been okay with it? Because it was such a suspect position anyway, right?
Yeah.
And the answer and usually is yes. But now that you have the answers on the test, now that maybe you've heard the earnings report, you've seen, you know, everybody talking about it on X and whatnot, now it becomes, and it's okay that an investment thesis can change. But it's called an investment thesis, right? It's not a swing trade thesis. And it always comes down to, if you had something else that was attractively priced, higher conviction, would you rather have your money there?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, well, here's your chance. Again, why aren't your actions matching the words coming out of your mouth? There's a lot of disconnects in the way we all sell options.
Yeah,
The
that's fair.
shit that we say on Twitter, the shit that we say on our channel. Dude, I don't know how many times I've caught myself saying I'm going to do X, Y, and Z on a position just to off camera do exactly what I said I wasn't going to do.
Yeah.
Bro, and I'm like, what are you doing? You literally just said you were going to play it this way. And then I just started looking at the damn portfolio and talking myself out of shit.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be set it and forget it. Live with it. Have a little conviction here, man. Anyway, Bill White, are we good? Does that help you a little bit, Hugo?
100%. Yeah. That's right on.
What's going on, Bill? Talk to me.
Before I guess kind of explain what I'm doing, Hugo, just on that TSLL, I'm not saying that you should do it on this one, but a way that you can save yourself sometimes is if you wanted to roll those TSLL covered calls higher, you close out the 2 and simultaneously open up 4 new ones. So it's not a roll button. You just do a trade where you close out the ones you have, and you're using the credits from the new contracts to bring the strike price up higher, and you can save the ones that are underwater. It's really easy to do when you have available shares to sell covered calls on, because you're closing out 2, but you're opening up 4, so you can bring that strike price up higher.
Got it. So the premium from the 4 essentially makes up for what the debit you're paying to close out the existing ones.
More than you'll still do it for a credit and then get that strike price up easy. But then the gotcha, for TJ's term, is that then you'll have that new number of covered calls. Those shares are locked under the new number, but you saved your old ones and got your capital appreciation back and still got a credit, and you didn't have to worry about paying a debit.
I like that, and I appreciate that, Bill, because I agree, and I actually made a post about the what the difference was before, but between Tesla and TSLL, and somebody brought up the NAV duration, and I was like, what the hell is that? And now that you mentioned that, TJ, it makes total sense to actually monetize it somewhere, or else you're losing money every day pretty much. And I had no idea about that. I didn't know that was a thing.
Bro, to me, owning those shares on those leverage ETFs is like owning a long call option.
Right. You're saying it just the theta works against you in a way.
It ain't good, because if this shit goes flat, the management fees are killing you, and then they still got to make good on a dividend.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm just saying, they got to come. The money's got to come from somewhere. I'm just saying, the money's got to come from somewhere. So and a lot of these ETFs that sell cash secured puts and covered calls, I'm like, well, I'll do it on them too, but it's just like the option exchange sucks so bad. So I don't like JEPI. Like there's like 5 or 6. QYLD, I think, is one. There's ETFs that do the wheel strategy, or a version of the wheel strategy.
Yeah.
They don't roll them. Well. Yeah, they don't do it very well.
They live with the result.
So TJ, why did you buy TSLL instead of just buying Tesla calls?
Because I do have Tesla calls.
You do have Tesla calls. Got it.
Yeah, it was just capital restraints.
Got it. Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of having larger share accumulations, because I was able to scoop up, I think it's 10 or 15,000 shares of TSL already.
Right.
It's hard to do that with Tesla. And make no mistake about it, even my long calls, I think there's 250 contracts for sale, 12.20 at $15. And every quarter or so, I want to be bringing in money, but pretty way out the money, though. Way out the money. Anyway, Bill, talk to us.
I'm trying to figure out how to live off of this. I've actually liquidated one of my accounts, went 100% into cash, which in doing so, gave up around 5 to 10% of my Palantir position. And I'm trying to figure out how to, just from cash secured puts, bring in a certain amount of money every single week, because, just kind of thinking out into the future, I'm going to have, I can't have all of that capital tied up. I will in some accounts, but like one that I want to live off of, you really have to consider that you're going to be collecting premiums and then taking that money out of your account. So trying to find a way of what works for me, keeping some of those premiums in, taking some out, putting some aside for taxes. What's that number look like for me to, replace, two incomes type of thing. So just kind of trying to work that out. Just doing it on a baby scale right now, but I think it's just going to take some time. So I'm actually going through the practice of taking the money out and just kind of see what it looks like.
I hear you, and that is that right there is kind of the basis of the entire Wheeling seminar on Saturday. It's not just about showing y'all how to sell cash secured puts and cover calls. It's about selling it as it is your business,
right?
And that business is going to generate an X amount of dollars based on what the business is worth, right? You open up a McDonald's or your hamburger stand, you need to be able to put out accurate projections so that you could, pay your salary and your taxes and everything else. So every move that you make has to have that in mind. So I'm giving y'all my perspective of someone who does this and only this for a living. You're going to get a totally different perspective from someone who has mailbox money coming in from something else. You got to keep that in mind. My shit is way different than anybody else who's sitting over there on their cool ass retirement salary or salary at work or anything else, because they don't need this to work right now. They have the luxury of time on their side. I'm going to give y'all a perspective of someone who doesn't have the luxury of that time on my side. Got $1 million portfolio, and the number one objective of that $1 million portfolio, come hell or fucking high water, is it needs to yield me $250,000 in net premium for a fucking year. If not, I am not doing my job. So that is the perspective that I'm going to give you guys on Saturday. And the reason I have the success that I have, and the reason I'm in the stocks that I am, is because they can help yield me that kind of money. If not, I'm sorry, you're just not qualified to be part of this business. I want to be in a lot of stocks, but they ain't gonna cut the fucking mustard, bro. I gotta go find stocks that will. I gotta go find stocks that have high enough premiums. There's enough IV, there's enough alpha to be had, but they gotta have a decent enough balance sheet to stick around for 3 to 5 years. Because if not, then you can't really do anything there either. Because you're always going to be looking for the next one and the next one, and that's why I feel so fortunate that I stumbled upon SoFi, because it was a recommendation from my son. He was like 19, 20 years old at the time. He said, "Hey, Pops, this is the way banking is going to be done in the future. Check it out." It was IPOE. They were talking about the merger with SoFi, or the acquisition via the SPAC. And he was like, "Kids my age, Pop, we don't want to go to the bank. We don't want to talk to anybody face to face. Everything's going to be done on the phone. This is the way banking is going to get done. You're never going to be in line anymore waiting to sign your check and all that other crazy shit." He goes, "The world is changing, and this company is leading that charge." And that is how SoFi happened for me. So I started looking at it, and I'm like, dude, this kid would rather do this. There's no human interaction that he's interested in, and he's not the only one. And I think that's the market that SoFi goes after, is these people that are very tech savvy. It has to be a good enough app for them to be able to get around, but the things that they're able to do without the human interaction, that is priceless for a lot of their customers. For people like me, that's one of the reasons I hate Robinhood. It's so damn hard to get somebody on the phone. Because I'm old, right? I'm 49 years old. I'm used to talking to somebody that works there, and they can help me out with some shit. Go talk to somebody that works at Facebook. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies out there that they don't even have customer service, bro. They'll just make their businesses so damn good that they kind of like run themselves in that aspect, because they're so user friendly that the customer can kind of figure it out. So that's how like SoFi happened for me. So we're gonna talk about all that on Saturday, dude. Like how I treat this like a business. Come hell or high water, it's my job to get a certain amount of premiums through the door, and it doesn't have to make sense for anybody else except for me, because it's my business. And I had to get to the point to where I didn't give a flying fuck what anybody thought about my strategy. And that was the thick skin that it's worked now going on 5 years to formulate. I post my trades with pride now. Before, hurt me, bro, because everybody in the chat's better at this than I am. But I've only met a couple that got more money. I'm just saying, dude. I'm gonna call a spade a fucking spade on Saturday. I
Yeah.
don't need you to like me. I just need you to understand what I do for a living, and I can help you do it too if you want.
That's it. That's the message.
That's the message, bro. I don't need you to, like, we need to be fucking friends. I got enough friends. You know what I mean? Like, Hugo could definitely grow into being a friend. Bill White's definitely, you know, we're virtual friends already. I just haven't formally met him in person. You know, but I mean, I talked to this dude. I mean, I joke around and I'm like, what's going on, sweetheart? I hope his wife's not listening to me when I call him. But I'm saying is, I'm not here to make friends though. Like, I'm here to make money and to show you guys how I make money. And then down the road, we're all made money. We can all unite and celebrate together. That's what it's about on the channel, is to help each other out. It's a hard game that we're playing, man. We're going against a lot of experienced people. We're going up against a lot of quants, a lot of algorithms, a lot of people with a lot more money than we got. So we got to be knowledgeable and we got to be hip to the game. We can't be that dumb retail investor, bro. We're going to get slaughtered, bro. We're going to get slaughtered. So I formulated a community that I can lean on and they can lean on me. You know, I'm not the best person at reading financial statements, dude. You asked me to do it. I kind of do it. I'd much rather do it with Bill by my side. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what the fuck is all this going? I was trying hard to understand, following Riot on the earnings call today, bro. My goodness, bro. I'll just have Jason laid out for me when I see him. Fuck all that. They lost me.
Did you see, you see, what's his name? Data Investing got a shout out from Noto, the guy that tracks SoFi.
No, I don't know. Are you talking about Chris, Data Driven, or who are you talking about?
Yeah. Data. Let me see what it is. It's data. Yeah, Data Driven Investing. He got a shout out from Noto on one of his posts.
Really?
Yeah, from Noto himself.
Good for him. Well, I think Noto has what's it called when you do the repost?
Retweet. Yeah. Retweet. Yeah, repost.
When you did the little circle thing.
Yeah.
And on one of them, Chris said, what did he say? SoFi has a bank or something like that versus SoFi is a bank. And then Anthony Noto either retweeted or commented, and he said something, this guy gets it.
No shit.
This guy gets it, yes. This guy gets it. So yeah, dude, and they surely know who he is. I mean, this guy puts out him. There's another gentleman named Brad Freeman. Maybe that's not his name. That might be his name. He's like a nerd, stock nerd or something like that. Stock market nerd. He does these recaps on SoFi as well. It's like really, really cool.
Yeah, there's some real, some people that really track specific stocks down to the T, and those are probably one of the best parts of this community you've cultivated is finding those people.
Yeah, so I'm really I'm gonna go into the weeds with Riot. I'm starting at like Brad a little Freeman. Yeah, that's him, right?
Yep.
He does these crazy write-ups too. There's a letter that he puts out. It comes on my email. I don't even know how I got on there or what, but I'm so thankful, dude. He puts out these articles and they come to my email box and I read them, dude. It's like really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign up now.
And Data Driven Investing also puts out a lot of articles on SoFi.
Yep.
So anyway, somebody asked if those are my account. I say everything's my wife's. The only money I have is what's in my wallet right now. Because if he were to divorce me, I feel like I would just go on my motorcycle with a backpack and call life good.
Right into the sunset.
I don't think it would go down like that for me, though. I'm a little more set up than that.
You'd be crying on the motorcycle.
Nah, dude. You know, it won't happen, bro. My wife and I will be buried next to each other, and I'm gonna be grabbing her ass and bothering her till eternity. And I want her to have like a little text message. When to be buried side by side. We talk about this shit all the time. When to be buried side by side, and I want my hand on her ass, and I want her to be saying, "TJ, stop." Dude, I thought for a long time I had a middle name called Stop. TJ Stop. TJ Stop.
That's funny.
So anyway, yeah, dude, she's my
She
writer.
seemed very cool. I didn't get to really meet her, but the few seconds we talked, she was very cool.
Yeah. Nah, dude, she's awesome. She's awesome. But anyway, so talk to me about a cash grab, dude. Sitting on quite a bit of money. We want to find a big cash secured put, a week to 2 weeks. A week to 2 weeks out.
Bill was ready to pull the trigger on it.
And it's got to have the right type of alpha, right? The right type of the right type of return. So I did one today that expires next Friday. So let me see if I can figure out how to show that real quick. This one's. So here we go. So I can't do it this way. Let me go this way.
TJ, what are you doing anything special when you get to 10?
Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot it, and I'm not gonna do anything until I get 1 million views on YouTube or Twitter.
I feel like you need to create some merch or something, bro.
No, bro, because there's more deposits going through, so that's gonna happen pretty quickly. So anyway, this is what I did. This is what I did right here. We've got 850 puts for next Friday. I think that's next Friday. Feels like next Friday.
Yeah, it's next Friday.
Yeah, right. Because we're almost the first.
Yeah, the first is this Friday.
We have 31 days: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October.
Yeah, Halloween.
So October has 31, right?
Yeah, Halloween.
Okay. So y'all learn that trick when y'all were kids too, or no? The
one with the yeah.
So anyway, so can you help me calculate the ROI on this thing?
What's the credit you got? 21?
There was 10,500. So $850 times 500. I think it's 425. And then 10,500, and it's I don't know however many day trade, 9 days maybe.
Why don't you pull up the wheel tracker? You have a trading tool thing on there.
I don't. The wheel tracker is not on this computer right now because it doesn't work. Let me. Well, maybe it does.
Scroll down a little bit. I'm sorry. What was the premium on it?
10,500.
No, per contract.
21 cents.
Oh, 21. Okay.
Yeah, right there. 21 cents.
Yeah, I'm showing like a 2.5% return, 2.47.
So annualized, what is that? About 30%?
Oh, annualized. That's how many? 50. That's 1 week. There's 52 weeks. So times 51. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't know. I could do it on my. So this is part of the seminars to do math, right?
Right.
So you take 10,500.
Uh-huh.
So let me see if I can pull up a calculator here because this is something.
I got 126%, but I don't know if that's right. I just timed it by 51
like
weeks.
that's a little high. So this is how you do stock market math, okay? For what we do, you take 10,500, and you're going to divide it by the amount of capital. What's the capital? 425. Is that right? 850 times 500. Yeah, 425 grand.
Yeah.
Equals, and then you go times 100 to turn it into a percentage. I'm sure there's an easier way to do that. Then you're going to take that coefficient and you're going to divide it by the days of the trade. We're just going to say that the days of the trade is 9.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then you're going to multiply that coefficient by the number of days in the year, which is about 365. So that gives you about 100% annualized return.
Wow.
Y'all see that? So the reason that happens is because of the IV, right? Because what did we have today?
Earnings, no?
You see that implied volatility right there?
Yeah.
Highlighted? 148%. So the market is anticipating 148% price fluctuation. That's a lot. You know what I mean? So in other words, just eyeballing this thing could go to 18, it could go to 4, it could go to 5.
That's wild.
So if you're willing to dance in that arena, it stands to reason that you should get paid a pretty hefty premium. So you got to really be able to do your homework on these things and have the right temperament. If not, this is the kind of stuff that could really, really have you pretty stressed out. So I feel fortunate from the standpoint that this isn't even a setup trade. This is another thing that I'm going to talk about. Whenever something is at your price point, like in other words, you're like almost contemplating not even doing a cash secured put. You're contemplating just buying the shares outright. It's at your buy zone, right? It's at your target price. Well, 850, that's kind of where I'd be okay picking up all of those shares.
Right.
So the only way that I close that trade early is I got to be over 50% by like Tuesday. If not, I'm letting that shit ride because you're not going to shake me out of my position because I want to own the shares at that price.
Right.
Because I'll just write them back up to 10 and make a shitload of money. And also another aggressive round of covered calls, get assigned at 850. Also an aggressive covered call at 850 or 9 to get even more protection to the downside. Because I already got protection to the downside with the 10,500. I probably get a lot more money doing covered calls at like 850 or at 9. You know, I got 21 cents a contract. I probably get 60, 70 cents. So now I got an adjusted cost basis in the mid 7s, high 7s. And that's how I position myself to manufacture the win when the opportunity presents itself. But you got to have courage. You got to have capital. You got to have conviction, right? You got to have the cojones, you know, it's all the C's.
Yeah.
And it's tough for some people. But it's like I have areas in the business that have underperformed. So I need to create areas in the business that are overperforming. And cash grabbing on Riot pretty much all year has been an area that has overperformed in the market. SoFi used to be that company, but then SoFi lost a lot of its implied volatility.
Right.
So it kind of the well went dry a little bit for the cash grabs. So I had to go somewhere else.
What's your basis on Riot?
About $2.
$2?
Yeah, on 110,000 shares, about $2 a share, adjusted cost basis.
Wow.
That includes.
It was negative, but we were at 70,000 shares, and then I added 40,000 shares.
Right. Okay.
So it brought it back up, right, to like $3 or $4. But then I've been selling a lot of cash secured puts and covered calls. And that's why I get like, I have this piece of real estate that I purchased, guys, and I'm going to beat the shit out of it until my adjusted cost basis is 0. And then I'll move on to something else. It's like, I call it's like an episode of Flip This House. And I feel like a lot of y'all are trying to like flip 100 houses, but you never fucking finish one. You never make any money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to flip 1, 2, or 3, and that's it. Like I'll have 10 or 15, but the crews are only working on 2 or 3 because I need them to get shit done quick. So I put all the in. When the getting's good, you need to go get it. That's another thing that I'm going to teach y'all. Is y'all are spread too fucking thin with limited resources due to the opportunity's good in one situation for you. Manufacture the freaking win. Check the box and move the hell on with your life.
Yeah.
Like, why are you a flower? Why are you like a butterfly trying to pollinate every plant?
So that trade you showed us, is $500,000. Would you go all in? Would you do the whole million on that trade?
Yeah. Yeah,
Why
especially if it's Monday, because I already shaved a lot of time off the clock. Right? Because what's tomorrow? Thursday?
Yeah.
So Thursday, Friday comes off the clock. They're already going to the data's already going to be baked in for the weekend. So if it's like Monday and they're still giving me 21 cents, my ROI is going to be like 130, 140%.
And you know what's crazy? I'm looking at the $8 December 20th put, and it's paying $47 of premium. So your your 9-day trade is paying 21, but the December one, which is like a month and a half, is paying a little bit, just 20 cents more per contract. So it seems like it's just because of earnings, I'm assuming, right? Or why?
What else? My God, what else is happening next week?
Elections, yeah. That's what it is. It's the freaking elections.
Yeah. So I'd like to be able to get out of that trade Tuesday at 50, 60%, sleep through the election.
Yeah, how are you? Are you doing anything crazy for the elections, like preparing your portfolio, or just?
Dude, I don't give a shit who wins.
you
I just
surf.
don't.
You surf the
I
waves.
I'm trying my best to care. I just can't get there. I can't get there. I can't get there because I feel like my life's still going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like all of our lives are still going to be good. I mean, if it's Kamala, well, it's already Kamala, right?
Yeah.
I just think, what the hell are people so worried about? I'm just saying, bro, she's already the president. Is Joe Biden really running the show? Like, really, for real? I don't think so.
Dude, it's so crazy because my girl's family.
In fact, she's out campaigning. Joe's sleeping. I think the country's running itself.
It's on cruise control, man.
So I'm like, I mean, at least somebody's going to be running it. So, I mean, that's going to be an improvement, hopefully. So, I mean, I'm not that stressed out if she wins, bro. I don't think Tesla's going to go out of business. I just don't.
So wait, let me ask you. I know you like to make bets on sports. I've made a few bets on some political events.
Shit, the Dodgers just tied up the game, by the way.
Oh, they did.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I know you like to make sports bets. Are you doing any political bets? Have you put any money on the line?
No. I didn't even know that you could do that. I think Robinhood just announced the degenerate gambler sticker for that kind of stuff. No. Not doing anything on it. Chris Patel actually sent me something. There's a gambling link for this crap for the election.
Yeah.
You can do it on Robinhood. I just did it today.
Oh,
What's
did you?
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at the Robinhood one, dude. They have a lot of fees on the
A little weird.
on the contracts. I was like, bro, that's adding like 2 or 3 percentage points on each bet. But
yeah, the one that Chris sent me was this one right here.
Kalshi. Yeah. So that's the I use Polymarket. I have a bet on Polymarket.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best, in my opinion. It's the best one. The only issue is that they still haven't gotten quote unquote approved in the U.S. So the way to transfer money is you got to buy the
Bitcoin.
The US. Yeah, like there's a specific crypto that reflects the US dollar, and then you got to transfer that over, and then you got to use a VPN. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but I think it's the best one, I think. But yeah, man, I made a bet on it too, so we'll see.
Hey, TJ.
Yeah.
The pricing on this isn't going to take place until tomorrow, but I think tomorrow might be a good time to sell a put on Robinhood.
So I've got 50 puts already at 25 and 50 of them at 24 for 11.15. So I think I kind of have to sit tight with that. Now I'm real happy because I had 50 covered calls at I have the thing up here. Hold on. Let's talk about Old Hood. So I posted an interesting question on X earlier, and I'd like to take y'all through it. This thing is, I can't. Oh, here we go. Man, this computer's slow out here because I'm on. I guess the Wi-Fi is not real strong out here. So I think you can see most of the position here. So if I could figure out how to show it, maybe like this.
Yep.
Okay, so got 10,000 shares at 21 and some change, 21.17. So that part's decent. Mm-hmm. Then there's 4 strategies, 245K is the options collateral. All the shares are for sale. So I've got cover calls at 32, cash secured puts at 25. These are all 50 contracts each. 50 contracts at $24 for 11.15, and 50 cover calls at 26. These were totally underwater, so now they're going to probably recover some tomorrow. So I feel like I really don't have to do anything for like another week or so, and then manage it accordingly. Hopefully it goes up to like 27 or so, and I'll either make a decision to let these 26s get called away, because I feel like any money that I left on the table I would have picked up right here, and then I'll just rock with these 32 calls and call it good, and maybe hope for like a more of a pullback. So
Is this a swing trade for you or a buy and hold?
It just hasn't graduated yet. So I want to make it an investment. I believe that Robinhood, regardless of how I feel about them from the standpoint of, I really think that the limits are like stupid. It's a very user-friendly app, and they're doing a lot of good things.
Yeah.
And I believe in the long-term thesis of the company. But it does have some limitations that I don't understand. Like I don't understand some of those limitations, but again, this is just not understanding how maybe the laws work or whatever their situation is with being adequately capitalized or not adequately capitalized in comparison to like a Charles Schwab or something like that. I feel like there's always just a bigger game that's being played that I don't really understand. So I'm real careful with the shit that I talk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
hey, do you have any puts on SoFi right now?
No, the IV was horrible. And I considered it when it went to like 980 or so. I had my finger on the trigger, but there's this company called Riot out there that just pays a lot more premiums, and I'm just as excited to own shares over there. So SoFi just ain't got shit for me in that regard. Not right now.
No, what I was thinking is if you had puts out there at like at the $8 or $9 still, you could have just rolled them to 10, and without having to put really that much more additional capital into a trade.
Yeah, but I had closed all of those out recently when we started going heavy on TSLL. That's where I got the capital. I had 7s and 8s for January that were at like 70%, 80%. When SoFi started running up, and I closed them out because
I did too.
I was getting a lot more money on TSLL.
Mm-hmm. I did the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. So you gotta make your bed and lie in it, right? Unfortunately. So anyway, what do y'all got? What do you think that would be like an idea that kind of rivals that Riot trade? Because that Riot trade, I feel like, is going to I think it's going to print.
Yeah.
I think it's going to print. I'm kind of hoping there's a little downward pressure, like maybe it goes to the low 9s or the high 8s, because then now I can keep the trade on and maybe even lower the strike price to 8 for a similar return. And then, maybe that one I'm able to put 1,000 contracts out there.
I followed you on that TSLL December put that we sold while Tesla was down, and that thing printed like a freaking printer, dude.
Quick, huh? Yeah.
Dude, that thing paid for Christmas, man. I mean,
NVIDIA,
look,
I have NVIDIA for November 8th at 133. I put that on today actually. I
On which one, Bill?
NVIDIA, but you might want to play NVDL if you just want it to be two weeks.
Yeah, but I think we have 300 or 500 shares of NVIDIA at like 123 and been underwater on them the whole time. And then now we're finally above water. And I think I have covered calls at 134 for December. And I've sold some puts here and there. So, I mean, made a little bit of money on NVIDIA. But again, it's one of those things that is just not a high conviction play for me. And it's a very the stock is doing extremely well. The company is doing amazing. But, again, this is something that I want to talk a little bit about. Wheelers Saturday is the hardest thing is finding your 5s. Like, you got to find your 5 stocks, 10 at the absolute most, that you're really going to rock with. And there's going to be a lot of great companies that don't make the cut, and that's okay. you're going to be in everything. Buy 3 or 4 ETFs. You're in everything. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not going to be getting no 25% net premiums per year. And that's my goal.
Yeah.
So
You know, so I'm like, I need to shoot for about 3% a month, 3.5% a month, sometimes 4 if the IV's high enough, if I can get it, because I know that I'm gonna have to buy to close, I'm gonna have to roll. So those percentages are gonna come down to 22, 23, 24, 25% annualized. And then I'm like, well, I do that shit 3 or 4 years in a row. And on the stocks that I own, they just stay flat. Well, good. You doubled your portfolio in 3 to 4 years. And that's the business that I'm running.
what about Elf? I mean, I'm just going through my trades for the next like a couple weeks that are ending. Elf and Phase, but I wouldn't do that one now. Nvidia, Hood, and BitX, but BitX has run up a lot. But maybe
Real
Elf.
quick, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta head out. It's late for me here. Good to see you both, Bill, TJ. I'll catch you guys later.
See you, buddy.
Appreciate you, Hugo. Appreciate you.
But maybe Elf, if you're interested in it at all. I know you've dabbled in it here or there.
Yeah, what's it at? I like it at. I like it in
109,
the 90s.
I think I had it at 109. I think I have it at one couple at 100 and I think like 2 at 105.
I remember the premiums being pretty. Didn't this thing go in the 90s here recently, or is that just me?
It got close to it if it didn't, yeah. But it kind of went back up. It was at 113 a couple days ago.
Yeah, when we met with Stephanie, she was talking about Elf.
I mean, I constantly Elf trade open because I just keep printing. If it goes down, it ends up going back up. So it's just really a premium play for me.
Yeah, so I mean, let's just look at it 9 days out. Same as the trade that we did earlier today. And this thing's just real slow, dude. Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not, I can tell you right now, it's not
a
going to
company
be
that I dislike.
Yeah, it's not going to be better than Riot, but it's a much more solid company.
Yeah, but there's also the volatility is not going to be there either. There's that.
Yeah, it's higher than you think, though. We'll take a look if you can get that thing working.
Yeah, I can't get it. I can't get it to do right now. I can look at it on my phone though. Hold on, because I'm not on the. Let me disconnect from the Wi-Fi on my phone. So there's Elf. So November the 8th, say $100 is paying 510. So that's 5% in a week. That's a lot.
And I like it.
But it's the bid ask is 5 to 7 though. So let's say you get it filled at 6. So it'd be like 100 contracts. That's $1 million roughly. And you say you get 6. That's insane.
So you can go
on $1 million for next Friday, it would pay 60 grand.
Yeah, it's better than you think, right?
I feel like that's better than Riot, because Riot would pay about 25 or 30,000 in that scenario,
and it makes a lot more money than Riot. Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting. Anyway, so somebody is talking over here, Gook, or I don't know how to say that name. TJ, TSO Inception is 8/12/24 down 51 cents. Tesla is down. There you go. See, so that's something to consider right there, right? So again, I would never own those shares without selling covered calls. So I think that TSLL is a beautiful cash grab instrument, and just manage those cash secured puts over and over, get the crazy premiums. And if you get into those shares, then you want to sell very aggressive covered calls and be okay getting them called away from you, and then just turn around and sell more cash secured puts. Like that's the way that I'm learning how to trade TSOL. Now, mind you, I do have the shares for sale at 15. But once I get out from under those, I'm going to be selling very aggressive covered calls at my basis, which is about 942. The cost basis, not the adjusted cost basis. And I want to get out of those shares and then just play it via cash grabs.
Any of the leverage plays, there's no way in hell that I would be playing them without having covered calls on them.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend holding those shares long term. I just don't think they're long term play on that aspect. But they can sure print money on the cash grabs if you know how to do that on the cash secured puts.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're at a strike price like the 573 that we talked about, you're at a price where Tesla would really have to go down even with the NAV erosion to hit that strike. Yeah. So there's a additional level of safety there.
Absolutely. I'm just going to put this on here because my wife's not bothering me, so maybe I can go a little longer to see if anybody might want to join. So I want to talk about the format for Wheelers real quickly, Bill.
I got 15 more minutes. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's cool. So let me get over here. So we're at a minute 10, right? Or an hour 10. So let me go over here. Howard 10 Wheelers format or seminar format. So the way that it's going to go down in my mind is I'm going to do just a real quick intro, and then I'm gonna walk y'all through the mindset. Like what do you need? Like what do you need? You want to wheel as a business because the number one. This is what inspired this whole thing. How much money do I need so I can live off this thing, right? I mean, how many times have we heard that shit on the channel? I mean, that's the number one question, right?
We even gave him the calculation for it.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. So what do you need besides money? What do you need? So throughout the seminar, I want to give you guys all the tools that you need to run a successful wheeling business the way that I do it. Take what works for you, throw away what doesn't work for you, because the business has to suit you. And I think that's what's so dangerous about investing and that people don't understand is they want to take a fucking Peter Lynch and a Bill Ackman and a Warren Buffett and they want to make their world revolve around what's in between their ears. But you're totally different people. You look at the world differently and God designed you that way on purpose. Be proud of who you are. Have conviction in who you are and how God made you and how you perceive things. And formulate a strategy that works for you because you are going to be the one that lives with those results, not fucking Bill Ackman or Warren Buffett or anybody else. They ain't going to live with shit. Their life's good already. They don't have to live with any results of the buttons that I push. So I need to make sure that the rules that I follow are my rules and they work for me, not for them. They work for me. So you got to own your own business. If you want to own your own business, well, you got to do just that. You got to be the owner. And you got to make sure that you're cut out to do that. If not, give your money to a financial advisor, give them their little assets under management, a little fucking fee, and they're just going to put you in an ETF so they can go golf all day. If you don't want to pay them that fee, then do yourself a favor and just put your money in an ETF. I'm doing you a solid right here, giving you not financial advice. This is life advice. I'm doing you a solid right now for a lot of people. Because what is the objective of the business? You're going to open up a business. You got to have an objective. Is that fair, Bill? Mm-hmm. You know what my objective is? It's to beat the fucking market by a lot. That's my objective. If I cannot do that, I need to put money into an ETF and learn how to golf. Spend time with my wife. What are we doing here? If you cannot figure out how to beat the market, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your life right now? Think about it. I'm not being a dick. I'm just telling it to you the way that it is, not the way that people want to hear it. Again, I don't need you to be my fucking friend. If you cannot have a strategy that consistently beats the fucking market, why are you not just investing in an ETF and saving yourself a bunch of heartache? So it's serious. It's not going to be just all fun and fucking games. What I do is very, very serious. I have to put on fucking trades that nobody else will put. And that's why they're never going to get the fucking results that I get, whether good or bad. That's the fucking reality of it. Go find me, invest with Henry, and tell him to go fucking sell 500 casket puts on right. Get the flying fuck out of here. You're not going to do it.
You also can't live off an ETF.
Unless you got millions and millions of dollars. I don't know.
Right. Right. But you need the cash flow. If you want to quit your job and you want to be able to live off of your money, off of your capital, you need to find a way to have the income, and an ETF isn't going to get you there.
So this is all I'm saying, dude, because this is why I never wanted to get into coaching or anything of the sort, is because you go and you get a coach. Like I love Invest with Henry's channel, right? So I refer to him a lot. Maybe one day as I grow the channel, if it's not going to be a sword pissing contest, him and I should probably do a video together one day. I think it'd be good for YouTube because I think a lot of people could get value out of the knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, he has his way of doing things because he also has a whole bunch of other money coming in that doesn't have anything to do with selling options. He told me that he makes about $2 million a year on YouTube. So he doesn't need to trade the way that I do. So he's going to be steady Eddie, and it's going to look really, really beautiful. If some experts look at the way he does it versus the way that I do it, they're like, well, you need to do it like Henry. I'm like, well, if I had an extra 2 million coming in because I was real good at fucking YouTube, well, I could do that. But this is what I got to work with. This is what I have to work with. So I need this portfolio to make money for our family. And, so y'all are going to get that perspective, because the number one question that I've always gotten is how much money do you need to make an X amount of money? And we already know that calculation is 2.5%, because at the end of the day, I shoot for 3 to 4% a month in premiums, because it's the only thing that we can control in the market is the premiums that come through the door. And make no mistake about it, you control how much premiums come through your door. You control that, Bill. If you have $100,000 to work with, you control how much premium is going to come through your fucking door. If only 3,000 is coming in a year, is because you don't want to serve that many hamburgers. Whose fault is that? Yours. You don't have the right temperament, the right genetic makeup, whatever the case may be, but it's your fault. Make no mistake about it. If you're bringing in $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year in premiums, it's because you're willing to take on that kind of risk. But then you have some rich motherfucker telling you, oh, don't do that. You need capital preservation, but your situation is not their situation. They got their cushy 6-figure fucking job. You don't. So you need to build the business and cater to your fucking needs, not theirs. So the one thing that I'm going to challenge everybody is you need to learn how to own your goddamn fucking business. And if you're not willing to do that, then that's okay. But just admit it and move the fuck on with your life and buy a goddamn ETF. Stop wasting your fucking time.
What did I say I was working on when you asked, like, how can you do with your portfolio? Yes. I liquidated one of my, smaller to medium sized ones. And I'm with the intention that I'm trying to bring in a certain amount of money every single week. I'm pulling some money out. I'm putting some aside for tax because I'm trying to train myself. It's easy to to grow the portfolio. What's hard is actually growing the portfolio while simultaneously taking money out to live off of it. I'm trying to train myself on how to do that.
Yeah. So I have worked on a plan. Again, this is going on. I just finished 4 years, right? So I'm starting the 5th year. And I lived it and it worked. Now I've been a recipient, with the exception of the 1 year, of a pretty bullish market, right? Like we had a V-shaped recovery from COVID, and then things were good for about a year, and then the bottom fell out. I want to say it was like on June of 21, and shit got real tough for about a year, give or take. So that's during that year when things were real tough because everything was going down. That is when I realized that I could still control the amount of premium that comes through the door. And if I can just pick stocks that aren't going to go out of business, a la IDEX, and they'll eventually rebound because I'm in good quality companies. I have enough of a bankroll. Whenever the stocks rebound, like SoFi has rebound, man, I'm going to be looking real good, and that's the way that it worked out for me.
Yeah,
But
that
then
happened to me too.
But then I've learned some things along the way. Like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to own so many shares so that I don't suffer from drawdown, because I know it's a lot easier to manage cash secured puts, take a small loss if shit's really going bad, but you're still back into cash, so your drawdown is completely gone, versus being real stubborn and owning way too many shares the way that I still am, but I'm working on scaling it back. Or I put batches of shares as swing trades now. Because I like owning shares. Because again, what is my background? Buy, hold, and hope. I was investing in a 401k my whole life. That's all I knew. That's what I knew. So I like owning shares. I'm comfortable owning shares. So Gook, again, Gook feels like the wrong way to say his name or her name, right? I don't know. Let's just call it Pansy. TJ, do you feel that you are taking more risk trading options now to get more premiums than you would if you another source of income to supplement your income stream? No, because I've studied the company, and again, studying the company doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day, because the company's going to do whatever the hell it's going to do, regardless of how much you know about Palantir or not. Palantir is going to go do what Palantir is going to do. It has nothing to do with how much Amit knows about the company. It's just comfort, right? It's comfort for you knowing that what you own is real. It's real to you, and you think that it's going to ultimately go up and to the right over time. So I think that time horizon, expectations, all of these things come into play. And the big thing that I've learned is I can control how much premium comes through the door. So if you got $1 million at the end of at the beginning of the year, like I'm hoping to have about 10 million in the portfolio for January, 10 to 11 million. The goal is 25% at the end of the day in premiums. That's the only part that I control. If I get any capital appreciation, fantastic. We get capital depreciation, at least I got the 25% in premiums that I got through the door. And hopefully next year we'll have some capital appreciation.
Yeah, I don't think people really fully understand that, because if you let's say you had $10 million and it went down 25%. If you've collected and earned 2.5 million in premiums at the end of the year, you're roughly break even when the market was down 25%.
Yeah, except that you do have to pay taxes on that 2.5 million.
Yeah. But
I'm just saying,
to get the general point, you're still going to be outpacing the market significantly, even in a really bad year.
As long as you find your 5, the hardest thing, guys, here is you're going to have to find your 5. My 5 are not going to be your 5. And then you're going to have to play those 5 accordingly. You're going to have to do you. This is your hamburger stand, right? This is your business, your restaurant. You run it however the hell you want. And that's what's dangerous about the YouTube channel. And that's why I don't want to be your coach and all of those other things, because my lifestyle is not your lifestyle. My needs are not your needs. You got to tailor make this suit for your measurements. And, I don't have Invest with Henry's income for his YouTube hustle, because YouTube is a business for him. Make no mistake about it. Selling options is my business. I mean, if y'all look at what the YouTube channel brings in, it's like $1,300 to $1,500 a month. Not really moving the needle, dude. It didn't even cover the Porsche payment. The Porsche payment is $2,750. Just calling a spade, Bill. It doesn't move the needle for me. I need a lot more people paying me $25 a month, and then I think YouTube takes like 30 or 40% of that money. Seriously. Like, it's not. So this hustle here is crazy. I don't have an $8,000 coaching package. I don't have these crazy financial Jeremy packages and Invest with Henry packages to supplement my income so that I could live off of, so I can go on YouTube and tell you a very conservative way to go and do things. So I'm giving you a real life situation where selling options is the source of income. Now I'm in a situation where I sell options in the hedge fund and the family office as well. And I'm able to draw a salary from there, and that keeps the lights on. So I don't have to touch the portfolio for the time being, but that's probably going to end here in the next 12 months. So then now I'm going to have to factor in withdrawals that I hadn't had to factor in before because life's going to change. You follow me?
That's what I'm practicing right now. I
Yeah.
follow you.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Now I got to make adjustments to my business. So based on where you're at in life, guys, you're going to have to, I would love to just sell puts on Walmart and call life good. It's not going to be good enough for the lifestyle that I want to lead. And I feel like I'm not going to beat the market. And again, what's the number one objective for me is to beat the market. How do you beat the market? You got to beat the rule of 72, right? If you don't even know what the rule of 72 is, you probably shouldn't be selling options, period. I'm saying you got to be able to beat the rule of 72. About every 6-7 years, you should be doubling your mark. You should be doubling your portfolio organically in the stock market. Doing nothing. Just buy, holding, and hoping. Buy some. If you want to do it with good companies, fantastic. You want to do it through ETFs. That's about what the ETF gives you, right? 9-10% a year. A little bit more here if you look at the last 5 to 10 years because it's been pretty good, right? But if you look at it historically over time, over 100, 120 years, it's about 9% a year or so. So you got to be able to do that compounded. You got to be able to outperform. So it's about 6 to 7 years if you're compounding. That's what it takes to double your portfolio. So when I started this business, I told myself, you need to figure out how to double your portfolio in 3 to 5 years consistently. If not, how could you have a job doing that for other people if they could do it in 6 to 7 years and not have to pay you any money? So I had to create a strategy that wasn't going to make sense to a lot of people, but it was going to make a lot of dollars and cents for me so that I created a job. I created a career for myself. And that's why we're talking right now. Because I freaking saw something, dude, and I did my napkin math, and I'm a lot better with numbers than I lead on, because I love math. And I'm like, I could do this. I could do this if I develop enough courage in my conviction and I find those 5 stocks that I like, that make sense to me, and that I could live with the results, whether good, bad, or indifferent. But a lot of people spend too much time trying to talk about stocks that other people like. Dude, I love me some Matt Money, but Matt Money doesn't need to like right fucking platforms. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying, I don't care, He doesn't need me to like Rocket Labs, bro. I'm going to validate him. Everybody's looking for validation and words of affirmation. I don't need any of that shit. That's why the number one thing that I want to drill through y'all's heads in this channel is we can borrow a lot of knowledge and stuff, and it's a very valuable resource. And I love you guys because y'all are such a valuable resource for me. But I can never borrow your conviction, and you can never borrow mine. I can never borrow your temperament, Bill, and unfortunately, you guys can never borrow mine. I wish you could. Because, dude, I get excited when the market's bleeding out. Dude, I'm a weirdo like that. I get legit excited when the market's bleeding because, I'm in the business of trying to buy stocks at a discount. Everything else that I buy in life is at a discount. Dude, I'm annoying. You heard me complaining at Chick-fil-A the other day on the phone. I think this whole world's overpriced. You know what I'm saying? And I'm out there trying to do cash secured puts on everything. Bill, what if I buy it right now? And my wife, dude, I'll embarrass my wife big time at a restaurant. I don't give a damn. So anyway, I hope that I could really deliver for you guys on Saturday. And then you look at your situation and see whether or not this could legitimately be the type of business that you could mind. Because at the end of the day, you got to mind your own business. You have to tend to your own garden, not me. And this is a lot for my FaceTime folks. Because I've done probably 150, 200 FaceTimes with the people paying the 10 to 25 to $100 a month. And they want to do this full time. But a lot of times the actions that I see don't match the words coming out of their mouth. And that's the disconnect that I used to deal with myself. But I'm like, dude, I'm over here saying I want to get 2.5% a month on my money average. Well, the actions should match that, right? And I think we can all agree that cash secured put on Riot matches those actions. Like it matches the words coming out of my mouth. And I'm not saying go be reckless and blow your own account up or anything of the sort. I know that I can manage that trade, but I'm also comfortable taking assignment at 850 because I'm doing the homework on a daily basis on Riot. I'm really liking what I'm finding out about the company, and they're in talks with this whole HPC AI thing. That's like the new hot thing for the miners because they're going to be like hybrid companies now, right? And anyway, so I'm really hoping that this slideshow comes together. We could do this on Saturday, and I hope that you guys get value. I hope that you guys get value. Hopefully we could clip it up, make it its own playlist, and it could be a real valuable resource for you guys, because the other thing is I want to take the show on the road in person. Like I want to do these 2, 3, 4 times a year in person, so I'm practicing. You know, and the language, everything's going to be clean, dude, because I'm also using all this material for Saturday to write the book. So probably like 60-70% of the book is going to be done on Saturday. On Saturday. It's like I want artificial intelligence to help me out. We're going to get real creative with this thing because it's real hard for me to go through all the archives. I'm like, well, let me just try to remember all the good parts in my mind, and let's put them down on some slides, and then I'll be able to like organically do the book on Saturday as well. And then I'll probably make notes after I rewatch the stream, and maybe like 25 or 50 once the book comes out, the hard copy or whatever it's called. And then I'll autograph those and send them to those people on the stream that contributed the most on the chats and stuff. So it'll be cool, bro. Like I'm gonna do my best to be on. I'm working out all week to get the brain going and stuff. You know what I mean? Because I got mad, like I lose my focus big time. So I'm gonna really like that's how the slides are gonna help me to make sure that I know what the hell we're talking about. So anyway, the idea, Bill, real quick, because I gotta go and I know you do too, is essentially like I'll cover a topic. You know, so we're going to do it. It's kind of like a meal, right? So the first part's like drinks, appetizers. So that's just kind of like the foundation of everything that's going on. And then here comes the entree. That's the meat and potatoes, cash secured puts, covered calls, rolling. That's the meat and potatoes of the presentation. And then after that, it's like what? Chill out, make a little room in the stomach. And here comes the dessert. So then the dessert's going to be probably poor man covered calls and the backstop trades. Doing that whole deal, and then kind of
are you going to mix in, or at least explain how the differentiator and what you're doing versus, you know, maybe a lot of these other people have just given kind of long-term stock recommendations is that you can live off this, it can be the business. Is that what you're going to talk about?
So the first part of the appetizers and the drinks, you know, portion of it's like treating it like a full, like a full course meal, right? Or whatever, 5-course meal, whatever it's called. I'll be showing like this is how you gotta like structure the business, make sure you're adequately capitalized, etc. Make sure that you're adequately capitalized up here. Like people would think that money is the number one ingredient, and it's important ingredient. But what's up here and what's in here, that's real important too, dude. You're fighting a real tough battle in between your ears. You know, you got to stay the course. You got to track everything. Like you got to set your business up. But it's like, I remember like as soon as I got money, the very first thing that I was looking for was a trade. It was like a heroin addict, dude. It's like, oh, I got to put this money to work. And I'm like, no, I got to put it to work in the right situation that makes sense for me. And then ask myself, is this just a cash grab? Am I legit trying to build a position right here because it's at my price target? Or is this just a setup trade right now? like right at 11 and $12, and I'm having to sell cash secure puts at 10, bro. That's a setup trade. I don't want those shares. If those cash secure puts get challenged, now it gets appetizing on the roll. And then I'm going to be able to slide it down to something that, okay, I'd maybe consider, let me think, consider, contemplate, let me evaluate. Maybe I'll take ownership. But that's where you have to like keep accurate records. And I'm not just talking about the ones in the tracker, accurate records up here. Like a lot of times people will not understand why I'm selling a cash secured put at a certain level. But they also don't understand that it's just a setup trade because I want to be in the ticker. I'm trying to lower the adjusted cost basis. This thing still wants to run. Well, shit, I'll go take money over there too. And then if it goes down to my levels, now we're talking about taking ownership of the shares. So all these generic bullshit, only sell cash secured puts on stocks that you want to own. Somebody regurgitated that shit like a year or 2 or 5 years ago, and it stuck. And people have been saying it ever since. And I'm like, yeah, there's nuances.
There's a lot of nuances. I don't play by that. I'll only take ownership of stocks that I really want to sell. But I cannot sit here and honestly tell you that the only stocks that I sell cash secured puts on is stocks that I want to own. I currently have puts on BitX, and I mean I think you've talked to me enough, and the people listening probably know that I hate Bitcoin. I'm probably one of the in the minority. Yeah. I don't like it at all, but I'm selling the hell out of the puts on BitX because I feel like I can manage it.
Yeah. The thing is, the name of the book is called Manufacturing the Win. With TJ the Wheel Deal, and then I'll tell the story how I doubled my wife's account live on YouTube, whatever. But guys, the reason that I say that a lot is because before I get into a stock, I ask myself, can I legitimately manufacture the win from here? Because you're joining in, and it's like it's mid-race when you get in, right? Like you don't start with these companies on day one. It's day one for you. But Ride's been around for a hot minute. SoFi's been around since 2011. So you got to get in and figure out, well, where are they at in their cycle? And you're getting in right here. Can you manufacture the win with your strategy right here, right now? Is there a win to be had right here for you? And yes, we'll talk about that a little bit. Definitely try not to own as many shares. I try to trim down. So it's like this. It's real easy. It's whenever bull market, own a bunch of shares and in different stocks, and you make a lot more money. Whenever it's a bull market, when it's a bear market, own less shares. Be more concentrated in those shares, because then now you're going to be able to average down and sell cash secured puts, reduce your cost basis on your core holdings. That's why I always say you got to find your 5. When things are going real great, you can find 10, 15, make a shitload of money. But when push comes to shove, make sure you're in stuff that you want to rock with for the next 3 to 5 years, because things might be tough for 3 to 5 years. And that's why I say I need to make sure that I want to own it for 3 to 5 years, because those 3 to 5 years might not all be glorious. A lot of y'all are fortunate enough to be married. You might have been married for 20 years. They weren't all peachy and creamy in most cases. I'm just saying, you go through ebbs and flows in life, right? So that's why when I pick a stock like Riot or SoFi or Palantir or PayPal, I'm like, dude, I feel like I could rock with them in the storm. You got to learn how to dance in the rain, man. There's a lot like life. And hopefully I'll be able to deliver the value, brother. But anyway, I got to get going, man. I appreciate you guys. Nothing on YouTube for me tomorrow. I got FaceTimes, and I got to go. I've got to go do the suit thing or whatever, the where they put it on you and they cut it to your alter it, whatever it's called, alterations. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you guys, man. We had a good turnout today. A lot of people on Snowball Hustle's channel as well. 1,329 people at least saw the link on Twitter or X. 110 people still rocking on YouTube, and I hope that you guys are able to support on Saturday. And the reason that I'm picking Saturday at that time is because I feel like whenever I'm doing these things live, I don't know if it happens for me next year. Maybe it's when I get the portfolio to like 20, 25 million, maybe I have a lot more credibility. then that's when I take the tour on the road, and I'll be reaching out to fellow wheelers and stuff, because there's certain people that are going to be better at explaining certain things. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to want to just hear me talk for three to four or 5 hours. So I need to have
Try to keep it at 3 so I can go on the boat.
Yeah, no, dude, it's going to be concise, because dude, my wife's not going to want me doing this shit all day. There's shit that we want to do. So I really wanted to get started at 8 o'clock, but I wasn't willing to commit to that. Anyway, TJ the Wheel Deal signing off with Bill White and Snowball Hustle earlier and Premium Straight. Make sure to like and subscribe to their channels as well. As always, may your sky stay blue, stock screen. Peace out. God bless you guys.
See you, TJ.
Take care, but appreciate you.